Welcome to the Uriah Jokes Podcast, the podcast where me, Uriah, the host of the show, tells jokes in the form of a podcast. That's right. We're going down into the depths of who I am as a person. But don't worry, I brought a life jacket because I'm going to save your life with some jokes. But hey, how you guys doing? This is a podcast where I'm going to say words, and sometimes I write jokes down on cards in order to have some sort of semblance of routine, which you need in life. If you don't have a routine, then who are you? You're probably someone who smokes weed, and me, I do smoke weed, and I am tired now of being someone who smokes legal cannabis in order to go to sleep medicinally, because everyone knows that if you smoke weed, your dreams will be better. And the dreams will be so good when you wake up in the morning, you'll still be high. And if there's anything better than still being high in the morning, is realizing you're still sleeping in the morning. Welcome to the Uriah Jokes Podcast. I'm Uriah, and this is my podcast. It's a podcast that you can listen to with your ears and also watch with your eyes. What you won't be watching is how good you'll be hearing these jokes in your mind, sparking laughter. And that spark will lead you to hitting that like and subscribe button, you morons. I've been locked in a cocoon of sadness, trying to turn into the caterpillar, but I don't have health insurance. But what I do have is a podcast. And nowadays, a podcast is actually more popular than health insurance. So you can take that right to the gambling bank and take out a loan, because you're not going to be loaning your depression out on anybody, because I'm curing it with humor. That's right, I am a miracle. Like all miracles begin with jokes. And sometimes a joke goes like this. It's like, hey, this person had a one-night stand and they end up having a kid. Talk about nursing a hangover. But comedy has changed. Comedy, like, I'm getting a phone call. I've been getting a lot of phone calls lately. Not because I'm a popular man, because the last thing I want to do is answer the phone and be like, hello. And then they're going to ask me, what? You're scary. You're scary movie. Oh, that doesn't sound like Scream at all, does it? I can't do voices or accents, but what I can do is accent my way into a segue. And that segue will be just like the brand of Segways, declaring bankruptcy. But comedy is like progressing in different ways, and what I find is interesting is when people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, you're right, you're a comedian, right?" I'm like, "Okay, what's the catch here? You want me to rake your leaves?" Which isn't derogatory for anything, or innuendo. I may own the dictionary, but all because I own the dictionary doesn't mean I own the right to be able to say the words correctly. And they're like, Uriah, you tell a lot of jokes on stage, right? And recently, this friend of mine ended up getting COVID, and they came up to me and they're like, Uriah, you're a comedian, right? And I'm like, I call myself that. I mean, I can call myself anything. I could call myself Uriah, and people will have to call me that because that's how it works. That's my name. So if I'm not going to respond to you, you're going to be talking to a ghost. And then if you're talking to a ghost, it looks like you're going to bust all alone. I'll get to the job interview stuff, because job interviews are just ripe for not only material, but just the ridiculous questions and how I answer them. So I'm going to start actually recording the interviews that I do, which I guess is a gray area in terms of whether or not I can legally do that. But wouldn't it be fun to be sued by the people who I recorded? They're like, I didn't know that you were recording this interview. It's against company policy. Well, you shouldn't have hired me then. Your company policy is terrible. If I make it into being part of the team, which makes me part of the company policy, and if I am the company policy, there's no way I could be against the company policy, because I am the company policy. But this person came up to me and they're like, "You're a comedian, right? You're a comedian, right? Huh? Yeah, I mean, didn't you just see me perform? You're a comedian, right? Do you know where I could get some ivermectin? Like, is this where comedy has gone all the way back in the 80s? It'd be like, hey, man, can you get some cocaine? Now it's can I cure a disease that I already could have prevented with a vaccine, even though vaccines don't work? But then people are like, you better get the vaccine. Oh, but the vaccines don't work. But I'm not a medical journal because I can barely read. I'm more of a medical diary. There's a lot of gossip, but not a lot of facts. But you know what it is? And speaking about not a lot of gossip and not a lot of facts, my resume is full of lies and full of holes, and sometimes I will I dig holes on my resume just because I think it'll be funny when they call me, and I'm like, actually, I don't want the job anymore. I don't want your minimum wage job. I want to be paid lower than that. I want to know that I'm being fully taken advantage of when I'm getting a job. And I'm going to move it down to LA, and of course, comedy takes forever to pay the bills. Especially, I write a lot of jokes, and people don't really understand what I'm talking about and what I'm saying. I make a lot of theoretical sense with my jokes, and the words are there. The cadence of a joke is there. Definitely the confidence is there. But the sense, the physical sense, is not there. I got the emotional sense to keep going, but emotional sense, I can't really take that all the way to the bank. I tried, and they're like, we rather you come in here and try to rob us than to try to give us this thing. I'm like, what is it backed by? My theoretical sense is backed by me as a person, which is physically real. But if you're talking about your money, what is it physically backed by? The U.S. government? How powerful are they? Actually, they're pretty powerful. I mean, well, let's bring it back to gold. It's backed by gold. That's like, oh, my jokes are backed by the miracle of curing depression. Actually, money does that as well, and it can buy ivermectin. So basically, what it means, if I start making money with the monetization of YouTube of my jokes, it means that I've ascended to the top of the food chain when it comes to the pyramid of the Illuminati. I am ivermectin. But I had this, I always forget. My brain has so many words, and because I start forgetting what I'm talking about when I'm just trying to... All I care about is that I may start on a journey, on a road, on a train, right? But I will eventually derail myself. But as long as the ending sentence results in a joke that can be understood, is that not what we all want to do in life? I mean, that's what I want to do. Does it make for a good bedside manner? Probably not. Does it make for a good dinner conversation? Not really, especially when I start a sentence being serious and I realize, oh, I got a joke here, and then go there and be like, Uriah, were you joking there? And then I get mad when they don't laugh. They didn't know I was joking. So I had this job interview for FedEx. And the pre-interview, they're like, okay, we got a background check. Is that going to be a problem? I could be like, no. I look at the back of my ground every day, and I check it. It's good. But they ask, okay, we do a pre-employment drug screening as well as randomized drug screens. So I'm like, hey, man, how do you expect me to handle strangers' packages every day and the dry-ass cardboard while people return their junk from Amazon that they bought while in despair while smoking too much weed? How am I going to pass that drug test? Of course I smoked the THC. So they're like, so is the THC drug test going to be a problem? I'm like, it's going to be a big problem. But now I'm the package that you're going to have to handle when you hire me. And they didn't hire me. I didn't get the job. I got another sales job interview coming up where it's a bunch of bullshit. What I mean by a bunch of bullshit is that the trick about job interviews is don't say what you're told to say when you go to like a job interview training class. This is the only thing they want to hear when you go to a job interview. Of course, they want to hear themselves talk, and of course, they want to hear you talk. But what they really want is to hire you just so they can stop interviewing morons who have to say, I am the right person for the job because I have the experience. I have the know-how. I can do this with both of my hands. And I promise to you that when I work a cashier job at Home Depot, I'm going to make people feel at home when they're at the Home Depot. And when at the Home Depot, they're going to get so confused about thinking that they're home that they're going to start building their renovation project right in front of this cashier station. So yeah, I didn't get the Home Depot job, but I did make myself at home because it's all virtual interviews. It's a gold mine of materials. Like, are you lonely? Yeah, sure, you could call a friend. How about have a couple drinks and apply it on Indeed? Apply for some jobs, line your resume, and then people will be calling you and they want to talk to you. And in one of these sales jobs, I'm on my third interview. It's like, I'm about ready to make this to my next step. Not only do I want this job, we should move in together. We've been on 3 dates. You know, my friends, my references. I wrote you a cover letter. We might as well certify that. Let's make that a NFT. You want to get married? We might as well be married. We're going to be spending 40 hours a week together. A job is just a marriage without the love, the intimate connection, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's exactly what they were talking about on the back of the Declaration of Independence.